computer. Friends, let me tell you, welcome to Find Your People. It has been a long and winding road to get here today. I'm Katie.
I'm Mandy.
And we're just glad to be here. We're recording a day late for a myriad of reasons.
Mostly because I didn't have any interwebs yesterday.
Yep, Mandy's interwebs was down, and of course it went down like 2 minutes before we were supposed to record, and which is fine. I mean, we give each other a lot of grace in life, and we know that you give us grace too as our friends here on the podcast. But still, it was like frantic because not just were we supposed to record, but we had a very strict timeline because we had to watch the Braves yesterday, which I kind of wish not.
Well, it's so funny because my cable used to be included in our HOA dues. And long story short, we changed companies to this little company out of Pensacola several years ago, and their internet's good, but their cable's crap. And so the HOA quit making it a requirement that you got cable through them. And so the only time I ever used cable was to watch sports. And I was like, well, I can figure that out.
Sure.
So I haven't had cable for the first time. This Brave season's the first time I haven't had cable. And it's been fine. I haven't missed a single game. The internet has not crapped out for a single game, but I have worried, like, what happens if the internet goes out and I can't watch the Braves? And it happened yesterday.
And it happened. You figured it out. You don't get to watch the Braves you have to watch it through your hotspot on your phone and just pray.
Which was, and I had the radio app running so I could flip over to that if I needed to. It was a journey, y'all. It was a journey. Luckily, it was not a very suspenseful game, so it was fine.
I love your optimism. It was not a very suspenseful game. I'm sure we'll talk more about it here in a minute because we got some big news we got to share. We're really excited about, but I mean, it was a game. So we didn't record yesterday. So it is now 9:13 in the AM on Thursday. We both had to have a little coffee before we did this.
It's 9:13 for you. It's 8:13.
8:13 for Mandy. Bless her. It's early. I've had some coffee, but Wordle and connections didn't go well today. So we'll just see. This is going to be wild. Early morning, find your people. But we're ready. We got our coffee and we're ready for our big news. Now, when Mandy and I started this journey, we were like, who's going to listen? It's going to be fun for us, but we didn't know, just how many of you would be joining us. And we have had at times a bunch of people, but we talked the other day and it's just so hard to do on YouTube because you have to, it's not like listen to a regular podcast. And so Mandy and I talked about it and we called our sweet and kind tech guy, JT Clements. We love JT.
Love JT.
And he's going to put us on Apple, iTunes, and Apple Podcast and Spotify. So I know. So it'll be easier to listen to, easier to keep up with all your other podcasts. And, I think it'll be easier for us to kind of spread the word and have people come into our fold because we love our people. We love getting feedback from our friends and hearing all of your excitement interactions. And frankly, if nothing else, everybody should make slow roasted tomatoes. This podcast, if nothing else, has given us that gift. So
it's sponsored by Slow Roasted Tomatoes.
So there we go. So that's our big news, that we're going to be easier to find and easier to listen to as a podcast. And we're super excited. We're going to stay on YouTube as well. So I'm going to upload us every week to YouTube just the same. But you'll also, if it's easier for you, you'll be able to find us on all the platforms.
Very exciting.
Look at us go do things. And this, I believe, this is our 10th episode. Mandy, we're double digits.
2 hands, baby, 2 hands.
2 hands. I love it. I love it. It's been so much fun, and I'm having a ball. And if nothing else, reading the show notes that Mandy puts in here is so entertaining. It just makes my week. So it has been a fun journey, Mandy, and I'm so thankful that we're on it together and that we've been friends for as long as we have. And
Same friends. What did I saw today? I was looking through my Facebook memories, and can't remember now. It was 6 or 7 years ago that I announced that I had opened my own firm.
Oh wow!
And
look at that.
You were right there in the comments.
So proud of my friend.
I know. It's so fun. It is a highlight of the week for sure.
It really is. It's such a great outlet for me, and I hope for you too, Mandy. It's life can be hard, so it's fun. It's fun to have something fun like this to do. We are so fun.
We are so fun.
We're gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Coming your way soon.
Yep. My week has been tons of fun. There, of course, was a lot of football. One thing I spotted this week as I sort of kind of watched game day, because, I'm not happy with game day these days. So what I noticed was my favorite, Desmond Howard, who I think is precious.
I love Desmond.
I love his fro is just perfect, and it fits him so well. He's so cute. He's got the best smile and the best laugh. But this week, he was so dapper. I don't know if you saw at all, but he had on a 3-piece plaid suit.
Work it, Desmond.
Home Slice didn't say, I'll just do the plaid jacket with a plain pair of pants. No. He went all in.
All in.
Did the plaid vest, the plaid jacket, and the plaid pants.
Were they the same plaid?
Yes, they were.
Okay, good.
And yeah, at least there was that. And with it, he had on a bow tie.
Well, of course.
That is from, it didn't say where it was from, but it looks just like one of my favorite companies, Brackish. And I don't know if you know Brackish, but they're feathers. They have women's jewelry, which is so pretty. And they have bow ties. They make bow ties for men with these beautiful, like, duck feathers and guinea hen feathers. There's just
Can you send them your own feathers?
Maybe. I asked, so my nephew, raises the birds, and I was like, you need to sell this company all your feathers, because they would, I'm sure, buy them. So he may look into it. I'll ask him if he ever looked into that.
I feel like maybe like Garden and Gun does their yearly awards. And I feel like they had somebody several years ago maybe who you could send in your feathers and they would add them to your, and people were doing it for like their groomsmen and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was my favorite bow tie that he's worn. I love a bow tie anyway. I'm just a good Southern girl, and I love a bow tie.
I would say I would have some reservations myself about wearing the feathers, because odds are I would be allergic. And then I would break out in a lovely rash. I feel
Gotcha. That would be very unfortunate.
Hopefully they treat those feathers with something.
The female, right? I'm sure they do. The female stuff is like the feathers are inset metal.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be more
for bracelets and earrings and pendants and things like that. They have beautiful cufflinks and things like that too.
Who's the lady on St. Simon's that does jewelry? Is it Go-Go?
Yeah, I think so.
That she does all my St. Simon's. Birch, here's your shout out.
Birch.
They all have she picks up things off the beach and uses it to sort of, I don't think she actually has shells and stuff in earrings, but that's her inspiration.
Yeah, so Brackish. I know that's not in my Find Your Favorites, but when I saw that was the highlight of college game day was Desmond Howard's bow tie. You can buy them at my favorite store, which I'm going to this weekend, and I'm very excited. Creators sells Brackish, and right there in the case at the register. And there'll be more of that trip next week because I know I have a list of things in my head that I want at Craters, and so I will share that, I'm sure. It's my favorite place. So after college game day and the brackish tie, I watched one of the best football games I've seen this season, and there have been some wild ones. That Red River rivalry game between Oklahoma and Texas was just a great game. And the whole time I was watching how well both of those teams were playing, I kept thinking, what the hell is the SEC doing letting them in? I mean, they're going to be tough.
Money, 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 money.
Right. And there's
money.
Texas money and Oklahoma money. There's a lot of old money out there. I get it. They got tons of money. And Matthew McConaughey, I'm not really mad about.
Yeah.
I would love to be in the stadium with Matthew McConaughey at Auburn. However, they're going to beat the ever-loving snot out of most of us.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
What? So, I mean, I think we should stop letting people in. That's a whole other conversation, but I'm not sure why we let them in. They're really good. Both of them are really good.
Yeah. Yeah. That the SEC West is really going to be quite the juggernaut.
I'm worried. It's going to be a long couple of years. I'm not sure if Escort in it with his softy heart is ready for this. You gotta like get some vaginal fortitude there, buddy.
You just said that out loud.
I did. I said, look, nobody wants to grow a pair. They're very tender. I want some vaginal fortitude. Oh, by the way, this is kind of going back to our big news. And I didn't tell you this because I wanted to tell you on here to hear your laughter. So I get a message from our sweet, lovely, kind, demure. I would call JT demure. Lovely IT guy, JT. I get a text that said, "Is your podcast explicit?" And I said, "Well, I know." He said, "I mean, like Apple will kick you off for any bad word that you say ever." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm not sure I would call it explicit."
I love Jesus, but I cuss a little.
So we're explicit, ma'am.
Our mamas will be so proud. Good thing they can't figure out how to do.
The boomers can't get here. So we're explicit.
Hey, listen.
Just look.
We've all known
fortitude. That's why I felt safe saying it, is because we're listed as explicit.
We've always known it. It's just official now.
Look, I worked at Geico and they broke me. That's all. All right. So continuing on with football from Saturday, Gary Danielson makes my eye twitch. So Vern retired.
This was the line that made me laugh out loud from the show notes this week.
Yeah, it is true. Gary Danielson is the Angel Hernandez of football. So Gary and Vern, y'all, if y'all follow football at all, you know, called SEC football together for decades. And Vern, I think we've talked about him on here. God love him. Vern didn't know what game he was watching half the time. He would say the wrong team name or who had the ball. Like he couldn't figure it out. So he retired. God love him. I'm sure he's on Alzheimer's meds now. But Gary is just annoying, and he is so far up the hind end of Nick Saban in Alabama that like he's disappointed when other teams score, even if Alabama's not playing. He's so biased that it's just painful. And he's still on there, but he called, I can't remember what game it was. And I just kept thinking, can I just mute it? But then I can't really follow it as well. Anyway, it was just terrible. And then that's when it hit me. He is the Angel Hernandez of football.
Do you want to tell the people who Angel Hernandez is?
Angel Hernandez is the worst umpire in all of baseball, the worst ever. He had so many bad calls. They're unionized and they were able to fire him. Now it took him a while. However, he is so bad that he can no longer call MLB games.
Did they fire him?
They kicked him out. I don't know if he can't call games anymore. I think
that's good news.
Is what I read. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just painful to listen to Gary Danielson. I feel like we got rid of one of them. We got to work to get rid of the other one, people. Come on.
He did not get fired.
Uh-oh. Can he come back?
He's still around. I could see, I thought he had just been, I think, so there was a game where Bryce Harper, who we'll talk about later, before the postseason started, Bryce, I think it was Hernandez was on third, and it was a check swing. And when they called down there, Hernandez said yes, he swung, and Harper walked all the way to third base and got in his face, got kicked out. Turned around, walked into the dugout, chucked his helmet into the stand, like over the net into the stands. And a little kid caught it, and like that was the whole story. But I think that was Angel Hernandez on third. That's why I was like, I'm not sure he got.
I thought I saw that they permanently got rid of him, but maybe I could be wrong. Maybe that was just wishful thinking.
I think
but he's the worst. Now, if granted, we do have, just like we have the yellow line in football, we have the little square in baseball, and people will pitch, and it is clearly not even near the line of the box, of the batter's box, and he will call it a strike. I mean, you couldn't hit it if you wanted to.
The baseball tech nerds, who track everything.
Yeah.
They track umpires' performance. And he's documented as just awful. So I don't understand why either one of them is still allowed to be anywhere near sport.
And more uplifting and wonderful news, meaning I don't know if you saw any of it. I saw some of it, but it was in Belgium, so it was kind of in the middle of the day and during my classes, so I didn't get to see all of them. But Simone, the goat, Biles, what she's doing is just amazing. To have laid out completely, I know,
for a couple of years, and then to come back and be just as dang good. She was already she was unbelievably good before she left, and then she comes back and she's still just that good. It's just. I didn't watch any of the actual competition, but I've seen highlights and stuff, and just amazing, just amazing.
It's getting me so excited for Paris.
Yes,
it is. We were watching a lot of when she got the yips or whatever the twisties, when she lost her place in the air, and how scary that looked. Because I watch it on TV, I can do gymnastics, and so
1,000%.
Yeah. So I could tell on her face that something was just not right, and to see her come back and come so far. And like you said, just be just as good as she was the first time, I think it's a decade ago when she won her very first one. It was just heartwarming. The other thing that I love about where she is, and she's always been this way, but it's, I don't know, maybe I'm just noticing it more after everything she's been through, is she never in any interview, does not want to say anything about herself. She every single time brings a conversation back around to her team.
Yeah.
Whether it was for the all around when they won, or not the team event when they won, and she was just worried about her little teammate that hurt her ankle, and talking about how great the rest of her team did when she's the one that carried, she did such amazing things.
Right.
But just the mental space where she is, even in interviews, I'm just so happy for her and so proud of her. And, there's some other really good gymnasts. We have such a great chance to do good things in Paris. I cannot wait to watch.
The other thing I loved was I saw that the podium all three were Black gymnasts, and that was the first time that had ever happened. And that, that's great.
So they had the bronze medalist on this morning on the Today Show, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name. I'm terrible with names, and she's new, so I'm still working on who all these new people are. But she is absolutely precious.
Good.
Yep. So she's American as well, and she's just precious. So we're gonna have to learn all about these girls.
Don't worry, y'all. We'll be on it.
Well, we're on it. The other thing that I loved was the boys.
Oh yeah, you texted me about that.
Yeah. So we haven't even qualified for some stuff on the men's side in a long time, and now they came in third as a team. There's a kid, again, another Black gymnast
that won the all around, right?
He came in third. He got, I think, yeah. And he's from Michigan. He is a gymnast at Michigan, and he's tall and he's cute as a button. And he did so well, and he is really anchoring that team. And there's it's such a diverse team, which I love to see. And it's just going to be fun to watch. It's going to be so much fun to watch. And I was proud of them as well. I saw a clip the other day, and if I can find it, I'll link it or put it on the Instagram thing, where Simone and that guy were doing each other's events. And Simone
was funny.
Terrible at some of his.
That's funny.
And he could not do anything that she did. So it was funny. Yeah, it was real cute. It just shows that there is such a big difference in the events.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do the rings.
And the parallel bars and the pommel horse, the pommel horse is what always gets those guys.
Yep.
That's their balance beam event. Yep. In case y'all don't know.
Look, we can't.
Is it called the pommel horse? I'm really tired.
Yep, it's called the pommel horse. Yeah, you're right. I'm so excited to have this platform to talk about the Olympics with you. We love it so much. Like, I don't think y'all understand.
Somebody might need to come edit us during the Olympics.
We're explicit. It's fine.
We will be explicit with all the details. I can promise.
That's true. That's true. I think we're gonna have to start early and profile them as they go. Otherwise, we will definitely go.
And bottom line it for some people.
Oh, look. Oh, so the last thing that I have today, I know y'all been waiting on this with bated breath. I went to the cemetery part 2 this week. So you may not be able to tell, I am my voice is not as clear because I did not want to schlep my microphone all the way down to Millie Vegas. So I'm in Milledgeville and able to spend my fall break in a couple days here writing sermons and all the things that I need to be doing for school and get ahead. Hopefully. Is Jenny misbehaving? Jenny is so excited about my cemetery day. And I'm so thankful that I've had these few days. It's been just so nice to be here. But that means I'm really close to the Milledgeville cemetery plots, which I have not been to since
road trip.
We buried the last of the siblings in April of 1995.
Dang.
Yeah.
Been a minute.
And that was, right before this was turned over to me, sometime in college or right after, maybe, by my grandmother. So I went over and visited my people. As Bishop Larry Goodpastor likes to call them, my balcony saints. They are on the balcony of heaven looking down. I think they were happy because I made it over. The first thing I did was I found Flannery O'Connor, who is
so cool
here in Millie. And Flannery has a bunch of stuff on her grave, which, I know Flannery O'Connor, but I don't know her well enough to know why there are coins on her tombstone. But she was there, so I said hello to her and said thank you for being such a great Southern author and inspiration. And then I found my little Milledgeville people. The lady that I am named for is there, and her husband, whose portrait hangs in my house. And then all the siblings that never married, which there were 4. And then they lost a baby. And so she's over there. And her sweet little name is Nanny Mae.
Nanny Mae.
Isn't that the sweetest thing? Nannie, Nanny Mae.
Nice.
So sweet, but she just has one little date on her headstone. God love her. And so I need to get those clean. I mean, it's just time to do it. They look pretty bad, so I'll do before and after at some point. But I got to make my balcony saints happy and let them know that they are remembered and loved.
Well, I think that might be the most southern thing about you. It's the way you do these cemeteries. I love it.
Thanks, Yogi. I don't mind. We honor, it's just my way of honoring my saints. And I'm so excited that of all the things that Yogi could have asked me to do,
this is it. This is your mission.
But I did, so I know where they are, and I know, there's 7 of them. Now, here's the look. I said this to somebody, and they were like, "Gosh, Katie, you're so morbid." And I was like, "Well,
you're so what?
Morbid." I'm really not. Like, I just have a weird. I don't know. It just doesn't bother me. Death does not bother me at all.
Yeah.
I have written. My dad's an attorney. He made me write my own will when I was 18 years old. Type it. Like, I typed my own.
That's valid in Georgia as long as it's signed by 2 witnesses who are in the room with you while you sign it, and they're at least 14 years of age, and you're having a lucid moment.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever had a lucid moment.
I mean, you're in Milledgeville.
I'm in Milledgeville, and this is where the crazy people used to live. But and I got a good. I'll save my one Lucy joke is a funny one, so I'll save that for another day. But so this is where last time when I talked about the cemetery, I talked about the Montgomery sisters marrying the McAfee brothers, and this is the rest
that
of
leaf blower. Okay. And
is it making her crazy?
No, she's fine, but I was just going to shut the balcony if you could hear it.
I can't. No. So I visited the Montgomery side. So these are the rest of the Montgomery siblings and their parents.
Gotcha.
So here's the question. Here's the question, Mandy. And I may have already said this to you. I know I said it to a couple of people because I got a choice to make now.
Okay, we just talked about this.
I got a choice to make, and I need some help making this choice. I can either because I do this for my family. My grandmother promised me a spot in the cemetery because there are limited spots left. Do I want to be buried between my grandmother and her father, Popsy, who I revere and adore both of them and would love to be there? Or when I went yesterday, there's a plot.
I wish y'all could see her face.
It's a quandary. There's a plot next to Catherine named Kitty. So the 2 Kitties, the 2 Catherines, could be side by side.
I say you definitely have to go between Gogi and Popsy. Just based on the names alone.
Yeah.
How could you
so
not?
It would be Morris, Gogi, Kitty, Popsy, Lucy. That would be good too. I don't know. It's a quandary. So I got to figure out where I want to be buried now.
I really wish I
there's an extra plot over there.
Wish you could have seen her face when she was talking about it. The light in her eyes.
I have options.
Listen, options are good.
Options are great.
Good.
Options are great.
Oh,
yeah, it's been a crazy week. We need to do a whole Milledgeville episode with food because I went to my favorite spot over here. It's so good. So we'll do that later, but it's fun. I've had a great few days.
Glad you've had a great week. Glad you're getting a break. Glad you didn't come to 30A for fall break. God will love you.
Nope. If I'm coming to 38, it will not be when anybody else is there.
I mean, I went to the grocery store on Saturday. I ran by my friends, the Weldons were in town for fall break. And we were going, I was going over there to watch the Braves game. And so I ran by the grocery store to pick up some beverages and some hummus.
There probably wasn't a parking spot.
It was like Thanksgiving.
Stop.
The grocery store was like Thanksgiving. I have never in my life, I mean, I have several times in my life, every fall break I have, but good garden seed, all the people. And I took video, I forgot to post it. I took a couple of videos riding behind golf carts just to prove to you that I was not
Please
making
post
it up.
them. I believe you.
All the way down 38 and all the way down 393. And they don't pull over. We stopped. We were going the Friday night when the Weldons got here. We drove over to Seagrove Village Market to have dinner at about 8:00 because James had to work and then he came, so it was late. We got to the stop sign in Seaside, and when I tell y'all, it was a bunch of women in a car of various ages, several generations. They got out of the back seat, and it wasn't just like a quick Chinese fire drill. Is that racist? Are we allowed to say that anymore? That may.
I mean, that's what I never.
That may be verboten.
It may.
If it's verboten, I'm sorry, but y'all know.
Yeah, it wasn't intended to be, and that's
Right,
what we called it. I don't know what.
Y'all know what we're talking about. We'll have to figure out if that's okay. But anyway, they were not doing that. They got out and took their time to the point that I was going, James, lay on the horn.
Yes.
And then they stayed long enough that everybody else in the car then joined in. Because my trigger is a lot, it's set a lot lower than everybody else's.
Right. Same.
But they were there long enough that everybody in the car was like, honk the horn, what are they doing? It's just like no regard.
Well, what were they trying to do?
I still don't know. They were from Kentucky, and Kentucky people have taken over as, my least favorite brand of visitor. Mercy. But anyway, so I'm glad. Are you taking a picture? Did I just bust you?
No. You didn't. No, you didn't. I was
trying to bust you now. I'm trying
a friend of someone that I know sent me my least favorite word on the planet, and I was getting mad at him.
Okay. You're allowed to do that. I was just trying to bust you taking a picture.
The M word.
Since your favorite thing is
I haven't done it yet. I'm getting there.
Flattering picture of me ever.
My favorite. I'm gonna sneak it in, don't worry.
So anyway, so I watched the game with the Weldons, which was good because Kelly's my Braves watching partner.
Good.
It hadn't been the same. Kelly had a senior who graduated. He's the one that's freshman at Auburn.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got
War Eagle.
He came down from Auburn, so that was fun.
Good.
But so we hadn't watched every game like we have before because she was busy with the senior, a lot of the time. But
yeah.
come playoff times, we're plugged in, and so it was good that Kelly was here. She's who I went to the Chicago game with, and she bought the blooper cups. So it was like, okay, everybody bring your blooper cup.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your lucky sweatshirt, Sanders, even though it doesn't fit anymore. Everybody bring your rally cap. Like, we were prepared.
Did you make that child wear a belly shirt?
It wasn't belly. It's
okay,
just
good. Okay.
But yeah, like they had to bring all that from Noonan to come down here. But we were prepared.
Yeah.
We were prepared. So anyway, I'll give y'all a quick overview of what the heck is happening with the baseball playoffs. The American League is set. It's going to be an all Texas championship.
Oh, okay.
Houston and the Rangers will play for the American League Championship.
Okay.
So that is set. The National League, late last night, the Dodgers lost.
Oh, they did?
They lost to the Diamondbacks.
Oh.
Our boys Freddie and Mookie went 1 for 21 combined.
Oh my gosh. Wait. Combined?
One hit between the two of them. Like, bad. The Dodgers pitching, Clayton Kershaw, who will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He was also like Methuselah in baseball years. He could only get one out. He pitched the first game, he could only get one out.
That sounds like our pitching.
And then the next night was a young rookie, and he did a little better, but I want to say he only got through 3 innings. Like, their pitching, they just had no pitching. They have been plagued by a couple of guys who have gotten in trouble for domestic abuse.
Oh.
So Trevor Bauer and Julio Urias were both. Trevor Bauer wasn't even expected to be there. Julio Urias was. But then they've also had a lot of injuries. Our Vandy boy, Walker Buehler, had Tommy John last year. He was hoping to maybe come back. They had another guy that had a Tommy John, I think. So anyway, their pitching was worse than ours, believe it or not. So they already didn't have pitching, so they were going to have some hitting to be able to win. And there's lots of talk around baseball about this bye. So if you win your division, you get a bye. Unless the top two, the third doesn't. But so everybody other than the Astros who got a bye came out ice cold. The Orioles, who have not been swept in a series in over a year, were swept.
Yeah.
The Dodgers were swept. The Braves have come out ice cold. They did win game 2, thank goodness, and they're going to win game 4 tonight. I hereby claim it.
Yep.
So we're not quite as bad as the other two, but there's a lot of talk about whether that bye ends up being a good thing or not. Because this is the second year in a row. Last year, same thing happened last year with the Braves and the Dodgers. We both got booted out early.
So I saw something. The news is so depressing. I get all my information on the clock app. I saw something there, Instagram or somewhere, about before they started this whole bye week thing, the wild card was like one game, or it was a lot shorter, so it didn't ice the people.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks we should go back to that.
Or change it somehow. Like, there's been talk about, so right now it's 3 games, best of 3.
Right.
And then there's a rest day before the division series starts. And so some people are like, get rid of that rest day. I don't know. And it's a small sample size. It's only been 2 years.
Right. Would one day really do that much, or is it more that you've got a whole series in between?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, but several people, like Braves fans, might remember Ender Inciarte, who was with the Braves. He was in the outfield. He got traded over with Dansby from the Diamondbacks, so he came over about Dansby did. I saw he had tweeted this morning and said, obviously there's something going on. He's like, it's a longer break than you get, or an equal break to what you get at the All-Star game. And people, it's well known that people come back from the All-Star game rusty. So I don't know. We'll see. Also, you should just play better.
Well, there's that. And I think, we talked about this year that and maybe this is why the Braves didn't totally tank it. That I'm a Braves fan. We played a couple games with the team from the.
Apparently everybody did that. Like, everybody
still didn't help. It hadn't really helped. I mean, I see where it could be a problem. So, I mean, I'm all about changing it back or doing something different. We got to do something different. I can also see where they changed it in the first place, that, for that wild card, you're one and done when you really want to have a bigger chance. My thought is, how many games do you play in a season?
162.
So, I mean, come on. We played enough games. One and done should be fine.
Yeah.
At that point.
We'll see.
So that'll be an interesting conversation, an interesting thing to follow. Yeah.
Yep. So
hopefully we can pull it out tonight.
But that's where we are. So hopefully the Braves can pull it out. So if they win tonight, which they're going to do because Spencer Strider is pitching, and last night was just awful. But game 3 was always the game we were most likely to lose. We've never had any, like, we were always like, who's going to be pitching? Bryce Elder came out and pitched great for 2 innings. I mean, great.
Yeah, he did great. I was so hopeful.
Came out in the 3rd and it just all went to shit, I can say, since we're explicit.
We're explicit. Yeah, it really did. It
in a hurry. And I feel like part of that game is on the managers.
Yeah.
Because Bryce Elder should not have pitched to Bryce Harper, and then he certainly should not have pitched to 2 more batters after that.
No.
But anyway, here we are.
I agree. I was watching and thinking, why is he still in?
Yeah. But our bats are starting to heat up. We're seeing enough pitches that we're starting to come out of this slump.
Yeah.
And Spencer Strider, I hope. Now he's still young. I mean, this is his first full season, so he's still young. But I think he's going to come out tonight and absolutely shove. He is pissed. Did you see him when they took him out of game 1?
Did you see him last night when they were chanting his name?
I haven't. I saw him.
We want Strider. Yeah, we want Strider. We want Strider. And I was like, y'all don't know what beast you're about to release, the Kraken.
Right. So I fully, he's young and all that. So he's not battle tested as much as say one Max Fried.
Right.
We all know what Max Fried does when he gets pissed off. Look out. So I really think Spencer's going to come out and shove tonight. He's going to hold on. Our bats are going to wake up enough to get us through. We're going to go back to Atlanta for game 5.
Yep.
That's what I'm
saying. I agree completely. I think you're right. I believe it in my spirit. But I love your next topic because I think it'll help us tonight. Although I will be in class, so I'm not sure what all
they don't start until 8:07 now.
Oh, then that's fine. I'll be out.
Yeah. So you'll be good.
Yep.
That's the question. So, like I said, Kelly packed the blooper cups, the sweatshirts, the hats. Like when we went to the Chicago game, she had not worn a cap. I did not wear my cap that I'm currently wearing. I did not wear it into the game. And she looked at me and was like, "What did you do?" and put it on. And then went and bought herself a cap because we always wear caps and we're undefeated in Truist Park. So listen, we are full on the superstition train.
Same.
And anybody who follows me on Facebook knows that on Monday night when the Braves were losing, I posted on Facebook and said, everybody change seats.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're watching the Braves or not, get up and change seats. We got to change the juju.
Yep.
And so shortly after I posted that, we scored. I can't remember if Acuna had already made it home, but shortly after that, Travis d'Arnaud hit his dinger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, okay, now nobody move, don't even breathe. And then you see what happened. Riley hit his homer, and then we had that amazing ending to that game. So I'm a full-on believer.
100%.
In the superstitions. I had put on my Lucky Dancy shirt. When that wasn't enough, I went and got my lucky sweater. Listen, you got to do it all. You got to do it all.
And I know I said this the week of the Georgia Auburn game, but if the water had not been as cold as it was at the lake, when we started doing bad, I would have put my same wet bathing suit back on my body and gone back and gotten in the water.
My friend Ted, who was an offensive lineman at Georgia, is not allowed to go to the Georgia Auburn game in Athens because, like, one time several years ago, he went and lost. He can go to the Georgia Auburn game at Auburn, but he's not allowed to go to the one in Athens ever. I respect that. I
respect it completely. Superstition runs deep in my family. I know I've talked about it before with the orange pants. I don't know what it is, but it works. Again, if hypothermia had been off the table, I think Auburn would have won.
Listen, it's your fault.
It is all my fault.
It's your fault, Katie. It's your fault.
Well, that and the whole softy escort freeze.
Well, the details. I texted my dad. My dad and I were texting yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to choir practice. Yeah. So it was like right at 6. He said, I think I'm gonna put Christy to bed. That's when we tend to win.
See, it's genetic.
Right? So
yes. So anyway, you ready for tonight's game?
I'm ready. I've got
your bloopy.
I'm wearing my hat all day.
Okay.
Got my sweater right here. Got my Dean's shirt ready to be donned. Like, we're there. There's also this is the other thing we were doing. So in 2020, Kelly and I were like, what were we doing in 2021? So we're going back looking on our phone. And she was watching most of the games outside on her outdoor television, which she didn't do last night because it was raining.
Yes, it was.
And I watched several of the games. There was a lot going on. I had a Rolling Stones concert. I had an Isabel at the Ryman concert. I had a wedding reception. So there was a lot of.
You need another activity.
Yeah. So what I did on Monday is I actually had a will signing at 4:30. The game started at 5. And my friend Susie came and witnessed for me. And I said, let's go to dinner afterwards. So we did. We went to dinner. I had them turn the TV on at dinner, watched it there, and then came home and watched the end at home. So like that's sort of why I went to choir practice last night, because I thought, well, maybe they'll stage an epic comeback if I'm just watching it on my phone. So
yeah. So what I have gotten away from, and you are reminding me of this, and maybe before next season we can talk about how I get things lucky, is that I no longer have like a lucky Auburn anything, or I don't have a lucky Braves anything. So I don't want to jinx us this year and start bringing out things, because when you add stuff like that, it can throw everything off.
It has to happen organically.
Yep. So I think next year I need to be prepared. I need some swag to try out.
Right. You have to test it.
Lucky. So in the off season, we need to have that conversation and get me ready to go.
We can work on that.
Yeah.
So that's baseball. Other than fall break and baseball, I was just going to follow up. I had followed your recommendation on some favorites. I watched the Kelsey doc.
So good.
Loved it. It was so good.
Talk about explicit. Woo.
Yeah.
They cuss every other word.
That speech he gave before the Super Bowl. That was
and
so
his
funny.
Garb. Oh, that one. Yeah.
Not the after the Super Bowl, before the Super Bowl. Like when all those gigantic football player men are sitting in a ballroom of a hotel in those tiny little chairs that we all sit in. All of them are like, crammed in a little chair, and he's up there trying to give the inspirational speech, and every other word is F-bomb. It was so funny to me.
Amazing.
And I'm also wondering who's giving that speech in the Braves dugout. Where is Jock Peterson?
I know. Well, and I think for me, still the highlight of that docuseries or documentary is Kylie.
Yeah,
she would be our friend.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, she was great. And those little girls, oh
my gosh, so funny. And I listened to the Big Boo cast. They talked about it after you had talked about it, and Sophie said something about how she's obviously the type of person who goes into TJ Maxx and sees the little container that you can hold, you put your mail in, and she buys one thinking it's going to help organize her life. But the reality is she's got 3 little kids and a husband who's gone 6 months out of the year. So
and the girls are all like under 6.
I mean, little. Yeah. No, so that was good. I love that.
Yeah.
Have also been making lots of grits.
On you.
Been basically making them like every Saturday.
Me too. I'm not going to be able to make them this week. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, I'll make them
Auburn's
for
going to lose is what that means. Well, no, they've lost every time I made them. So.
Yeah, okay. Go Auburn, War Eagle.
Oh, jeez.
Kelly will be there for Parents Weekend.
It'll be a good.
Right?
No, they're in LSU.
Okay, because
So
I'm like,
Auburn plays LSU at night in Death Valley. We're gonna get the. Okay, here we go. Explicit. We're gonna get the shit kicked out of us.
listen, you never know. Stranger things have happened.
You don't, but I just feel it in my spirit.
Okay, all right.
It's coming.
Yeah. But yeah, so those just wanted to. Oh, I was going to say. So last night I had leftover grits and I had a leftover pork chop and some roasted fennel. So I
don't love fennel.
I don't love fennel. I like roasted fennel.
Really?
I don't love licorice, but
I don't love licorice either. Really?
Yeah.
All right, I might try it on your recommendation.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But speaking of food, so another thing we're thinking about adding, guys, is just a sort of a dedicated food segment. And
we do live by our tummies.
Yeah, yeah. So I had already listed this as one of the things I was thinking about this week because I mean, obviously y'all can tell we both love to cook, but then there are also times where I get completely uninspired. And that's when I order the food meal kit service. I've got the Martha Stewart one running right now. But so who remembers that Sex and the City episode where Carrie talks about your embarrassing meal that you eat? And as I recall, hers was she talked about it and you didn't know what it was. And then it shows her eating saltine crackers with jelly. That was her embarrassing meal, which I'm not here to put shame on anybody's.
Yeah, that sounds delicious to me.
Y'all eat whatever you want to eat. I was just gonna say mine is, here's what I do when I just don't feel like dealing and know I have to eat, is I just get a can of tuna. And listen, I don't want your fancy tuna. I don't want the albacore white tuna, whatever. I don't want it in the Italian olive oil. I want some good old plain old fish of the, what is it?
Fish of the sea.
Is that chicken?
Chicken of the sea.
No, yeah, I just want some good old chicken of the sea. Yeah. And I'm a good product of the 90s, so I want it in water, not oil. Because remember that oil was bad for us.
The oil is bad.
I had to get in the water to go with our Snackwell cookies. I just want chicken of the sea in water. And then I'm just going to boil whatever short pasta I have. Got to be short pasta.
Okay.
And I'm going to mix the two of those together with a lot of butter and some salt. And peace out.
That sounds delicious.
It is delicious.
I keep tuna. I have upgraded to a little bit fancier tuna. It's not chicken of the sea, but I love just to make tuna salad because I always have mayo. And I found when I was at J. Moore Farms some fancy bread and butter pickles. So all tuna salad is tuna, a bunch of mayo, and some fancy bread and butter pickles. Okay. And I'm happy as a clam.
Yeah. That's a little more effort than what I have just done with my can of tuna and short pasta.
Yeah. Well, they make those pouches that you can even microwave pasta now. So it's no, I promise it's Barilla. I used to get them all the time, but then I tried to stop eating pasta. But I promise.
Okay.
And to Jesus. I'll take a picture of it next time I go to the store. And I don't know about any other brand, but that high-end pasta in the pouch that you can microwave for a minute makes life so easy.
See, I'm just thinking, I once made a Facebook post that was a little controversial.
What'd you do?
I think it's Mueller pasta that sells the spaghetti that has already been broken in half.
Oh.
And I made a post on Facebook about, really? We have to have pre-broken pasta? And people were like, yes, because my children will not eat it otherwise. And that's great. I'm not shaming.
You can break it. It's not hard to break pasta.
Well, listen, that's sort of how I feel about the microwavable pasta, Katie. Like,
so yeah, it's a lot quicker
way,
though.
it's quicker.
It's so much quicker. And
it's like 4 minutes quicker.
No, it's well, no, pasta takes like 10 minutes. And you gotta get the water boiling first.
You need an al dente. You don't need to cook it for 10 minutes.
Well, I was thinking about, like, they don't have spaghetti that way. Like, you still have to cook your spaghetti. This is like the thick, like, the corkscrew ones. Yeah. And the penne, all those, the thicker ones. They don't sell spaghetti in a packet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical, but I hear you.
It's like $2 for a pouch. So buy one and then come back and tell me
now you're really getting on my, because like, here's a secret thing about me too. My favorite thing to do is to go
buy in bulk.
I hate Publix because there's a history there.
Uh-oh.
But I have no choice but to shop at Publix in Florida. And so my favorite thing to do is only buy what's on sale at Publix. And so, listen, you can get your pasta if it's BOGO, whatever brand's on BOGO for the week, Katie. Yeah. $2 for a pouch. Is it one serving?
I mean, look, back in my pasta eating days, yes.
Okay. Well, I know, yeah. So see, now you're paying $2 for one serving.
Well, I mean, I love you. This is why I love you. This is why I love you. So I saw this. Anyway, I saw this on the thing and I thought, what is my embarrassing meal? And I will tell you, it's very Southern. But it takes the sandwich a step further. I don't just love a peanut butter and banana sandwich. To cut the stickiness of the peanut butter, you have to put mayonnaise on it. Yeah. So
my dad, I feel like several members of my family used to eat that.
Yep. In the summer only.
Yeah. As a kid, I was not a fan of bananas or mayonnaise. So it was out for me.
It is not my go-to fruit, but there's something about, and we used to eat it a lot when I was a member of a hunt club. Yes.
It was a Sunday night meal at the Caldwell house.
Yeah.
Because Mom would bake a big Sunday lunch.
Yep.
Typically roast and rice. And then she wouldn't cook on Sunday nights. So Sunday nights it was either like a scrambled egg sandwich. Ever have a scrambled egg sandwich?
Yes. Oh yeah. Bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Are you kidding me?
No, just scrambled eggs.
Oh, no bacon.
Pieces of bread.
Wow.
They would put mayonnaise on theirs. I would not. Or that would be the banana mayonnaise
and peanut butter.
Yeah,
it's so good. Oh no, you gotta have both. It's so good. I mean, it harkens back to the idea of the pear with the cheese and the mayonnaise on it. That was always on the table.
When my nephew was about 3 years old, they asked what his favorite food was, and that's what he said.
Oh, I love them.
Again, I just had a plain canned pear because I didn't want the mayonnaise. I also didn't like cheese as a child. Listen, friends, if you have a child who doesn't like food, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. They could end up being me. Because literally all I ate for most of my childhood was the square Oscar Mayer ham.
Ooh.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It had to be that ham, Lay's potato chips, orange high C, and Coca-Cola.
There we go.
And here I am now. So don't give up hope.
Slow roasted tomatoes and everything.
Speaking of favorites, Katie, hit us with some of yours.
Yes. So I have several new things for us to watch. I don't get to read a lot these days except about Jesus, but I constantly try to keep something on running on the TV to make it not like deathly silent in the house. And so there are two specials or documentaries that I have watched that I have loved. One I have not quite finished yet, but Beckham on Netflix. They've been making the rounds. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And they are so honest and open about, they're these beautiful people, talented, beautiful, from the outside, everything looks great, but they're very honest about the struggles they've had through the years. And it is so hopeful that you can come out the other side and be even stronger. It is so hopeful that, they are nice people. They're not just pretty. They're just, it's such a great documentary. It reminds me the way it's shot and everything reminds me of the way that they do a chef's table. So I don't know if it's the same team of documentary people that they use for that, which a chef's table, if you have not watched on Netflix, you are missing out. And I have been to a couple of the places, and that is like when I didn't win the lottery last night, but if I were to win the lottery, I would travel the world going to all those restaurants. Yeah. And I'd take Mandy, my attorney, with me. So it's that same kind of feel, if you like the way that is shot, which I do very much. The Beckham documentary on Netflix, I cannot recommend enough. So definitely watch that. The other one I'm watching is also very interesting. It's called the Supermodels. It's on Apple TV. It's 4 episodes, and it follows, let me see if I can get these names right, all the faces of my youth. Cindy Crawford, Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, and oh gosh, what's her name? She's Black, beautiful. Oh, I had them all down. I'm terrible with names.
Hold on.
Naomi Campbell. Golly. Woo. But they are all friends. They are still friends. They so far it has shown like the beginning of their careers when there were a lot of fashion houses that would not use Naomi Campbell, and the other girls would say to them, we're not doing it unless she gets to do it. And so they stood up for her, and she loves them for it. And they've stood by each other. I forgot that they were all in the George Michael Faith.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
They show that and talk about that behind the scenes and how that really catapulted all 4 of them more than anything. And then Versace, Donatella suggested to her brother that they play that music while those 4 women showed his fashion that season walking down the catwalk. And that really launched them more than anything. And they realized at that point what print models and runway models, they should probably, they can capitalize on that marketing. So it was just fascinating, the history of fashion and the history of media in that way. And then those 4 beautiful souls, highly recommend, especially if you grew up with their faces on everything like we did.
Lovely.
I've talked a lot about Sabbath lately in my other podcast, and then I always try to remember to get Sabbath. I hope that all of you have a place that brings you rest. And my place, doesn't matter where really it is, as long as there's water. I love the water. I go to the water. I've been to 2 different lakes. I love the river. I love a puddle. I love the rain. Yeah. Look, sorry. We are not explicit. We are holy. Anyway. Wade in the water. There we go. I hope that you.
Welcome to my brain.
I know, right? There is a soundtrack of my life up in my head. I just don't sing it out loud because it hurts people's ears. Unlike yours, which is beautiful. So I was thinking this week that I hope that each one of you has a place that you can go for rest and renewal, even if it's for 10 minutes. I really hope that you have that. And like I said, for me, it's the water and apparently a cemetery. I don't know what that says about me.
You contain multitudes.
I do. I'm very complex. I'm an onion. The other thing that here's what I love. Here's what I love is that I just looked at my list and the theme is like the 90s. Did y'all remember Tretorns?
I gave my sister a pair of Tretorns for Christmas last year.
They're back with a vengeance. Draper James, which is my favorite human, Reese Witherspoon's clothing company, has a partnership with Tretorns now. So she has her little Tretorns.
Do you remember we used to did you get the pair that you could you could put different colored swoops in the little swoop? Did you have those?
So I'm going to say out loud, because my boomer people can't find this.
They wouldn't buy you Tretorns?
No.
Girl, I didn't get a Holly Hobby sleeping bag either. I'm not over it.
I was not allowed such extravagance.
Have you bought it yet?
I did. I did. So I went on Amazon Prime Day, had Tretorns on sale. So perfect. I bought me a pair of Tretorns that will be at my house when I get home. I'm sorry.
What color?
They have. What now?
What color is your swoop?
My swoop is a pretty dark green.
Nice.
I know, right? I'm so excited. Tretorns are back, and I now have a pair.
Good.
Yes, so I was so excited to see that. I could not believe it. I was like, Tretorns, what the heck? They're back. I do believe my cheerleading tennis shoes had the option to switch out based on your team color. So they didn't have to manufacture a bunch of them. They just made the white shoe and then you stuck the color in. So we had red in our Tretorns, or maybe they were Tretorns. I don't think so though. Anyway, so I knew the theory, but I was not allowed to have the actual. The last thing that I would love to present to you as an option, which kind of combines my love of everything we've talked about today. So Mo Rocca, do y'all remember Mo Rocca?
Love Mo Rocca.
Mo Rocca is the cutest, most precious angel. He's got the best lisp. And I love that people with a lisp are on the news, and he was on MTV and just the best. Mo Rocca, I loved him. Loved him in the 90s when I was wanting my Tretorns.
He's on does a lot of CBS Sunday Morning now. Yes. And he's on Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Yes, so he is thriving. He has a podcast called Mobituaries.
Now this I did not know.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It is so good. It does talk about the death of things, but it doesn't just talk about the death of people. It talks about all different kinds of things. You can go look at the different titles of his episodes, but like one of them was about the death of the actual banana. So do you know that the bananas we eat now taste nothing like the bananas that they had back in the day? The banana flavor is not what it used to be.
I do not know that.
You can listen to it on Mobituaries because that died out literally.
Can you hear that leaf blower?
No.
I'll take it.
Yeah. His first one of this season, they're just a couple of seasons out. It wouldn't be hard to catch up. His first one of this season, he was with Anderson Cooper.
Love Anderson Cooper.
I think has a new podcast out, and that's why he was on there. But they talked about people that died on the same day.
Oh wow!
And like who was above the fold?
It's not a new podcast.
Okay.
Last year, and it's a very limited series, but it is excellent. It's great.
Because he has experienced tons of grief, public grief. And he talks about that a little bit because they talk about his mother's death and his brother's death and whether it was above the fold or below the fold. Mm-hmm. And when two people died on the same day, who was given more attention in the media. Wow. It's a very interesting episode. It was really good. This past week, there was another one out that I loved. It was Peggy Lee. So he doesn't just talk about their death, he talks about their life and things you didn't
Oh,
know.
I was like, wait, he had Peggy Lee on? I thought Peggy
No,
Lee.
he talks to her granddaughter. And she was a recluse at the end of her life. It's just fascinating. If you love a good story, which we do, I cannot recommend it enough. So definitely go check out Mobituaries. It is so good, and I cannot believe we're going to be on the same platform as Mo Rocca.
Whoop, whoop.
I mean, seriously. But I was listening to that. It took a while for the second season to come back out, but it's out now and it's amazing. And I'm gonna go add that Anderson Cooper as well.
So good.
But yeah, definitely listen to Mobituaries. You'll like it.
I think my favorite one of the Andersons was he talked to Stephen Colbert. And Stephen Colbert, like his dad and two of his brothers died in a plane crash. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
There's a clip of, I think he's interviewing Anderson on his show, and he's talking about grief. And he says something really profound. I need to go find it. And we'll put that clip on too if I can find it. But he has a very healthy relationship with grief. Stephen does. He was young. He was like 10 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. And Anderson's dad died when he was really young too. So
when he was young, and then even his
you're going through grief or dealing with grief, I would highly recommend Anderson's Psychcast. It's really good.
Yep. And then always Kate Bowler too. If you don't know Kate Bowler, she has a lot about grief as well. So that's my list. Mobituary.
Those were great.
The most morbid list podcast ever. Cemeteries and Mobituaries.
Listen, what I've been trying not to do every day that the Braves play is sit around and listen to all the podcasts about the Braves and obsess and worry. And so listen, maybe Mobituaries will be my go-to. It's the one on the left. All There Is. Yeah.
He's got two. We don't want a 360. We want to, follow.
Yeah.
It's called All There Is with Anderson Cooper. So I will put that in the show notes as well. You're going to love it. I can't wait for you to report back.
So then maybe that's what'll keep me busy today while I'm working. Yeah. We got the estate sale going at the house. I mean, it's not going yet, but they're getting it set up. It's amazing what they've done in like 3 days.
Love it.
So that's good.
Give us an update on Jenny too before we go.
Jenny is finally, medically cleared. She's got somebody that's interested in her. She currently has a very upset stomach.
Oh.
It's been a fun time.
Smelly.
Fun.
Awesome.
Poopery. And it's raining outside, so that's also fun to go out a lot in the rain.
Yeah.
But other than that, she's good. She doesn't get all upset when I'm screaming at the TV. And I don't really scream at the TV too much. Only when we're winning. I scream when we're winning. If we're losing, I'm calm.
See, I'm the opposite. I can't wait to watch something with you. I don't know if we can't do it this season, obviously, because that'll jinx us because we've never done that before and I don't want to risk it. But because we will oppositely scream at the TV.
Funny. Yeah.
I love it.
I don't like. I'm a little annoyed with all the fandoms in general. I say we were going to talk about Bryce Harper. I know we're going long. We should probably stop. But I just have to say one thing. Everybody calm down. Everybody just calm down. We're playing baseball. We don't have to hate each other. You don't have to make death threats against the Braves. No. We're going to play Smelly Cat for Brandon Marsh when he comes up with his wet hair.
Look, that is kind of funny though.
It is very funny. But don't make a death threat against the poor little.
No. That's taking it too far. No, that's.
But yeah, so the big news around yesterday was that after the Braves' amazing win Monday night, that Orlando Arcia, who hardly speaks a lick of English, by the way, was running around the Braves clubhouse saying, "Attaboy Bryce, attaboy Bryce," which we were all like, "There's no chance." Apparently he was, but it was in a closed clubhouse.
Yeah.
And one of the Phillies beat writers published that he was doing it. Like it wasn't on the record, but he wasn't doing it like rub it in Bryson's face. He was doing it to celebrate their victory.
Yeah.
So anyway, they asked Smelly Cat about it in his press conference yesterday. Smelly Cat was like, "We don't care about all that. Whatever, it's fine."
Yeah.
But then Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs last night as he was running past Orlando Arcia at shortstop. He like gave him the death glare.
I saw that.
And then here's the other thing that really bothered me. Celebrate however you want to celebrate. I really don't care. But I'm not sure, Bryce, that in the world we're currently living in, that the correct choice is to do a throat slashing gesture. Have a little awareness of world events, brother. That is not nice talking at all. But anyway,
I love a good break his legs. Break his legs. But we don't want to kill people.
Right? And the throat slashing is just especially.
Yeah, not right now.
Not right now.
No. Read the room, buddy. Read the room.
So hopefully Spencer is going to keep Bryce from slashing any throats tonight. I mean, I freaking love the Phillies fans. I think it's great.
They're amazing.
Right? Like, I wish
level.
the Braves fans were like that. Kelly and I are like that. We drive everybody in our section crazy, but we don't care because that's how we act at the ball game. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll be quiet tonight.
Yeah.
And by next week, we'll know.
We'll know. So this weekend, I am actually tomorrow morning, I'm heading into Mekonga because I'm officiating my first wedding.
So exciting.
I'm so excited. And of course, I'm quoting James Taylor.
As you should.
As one should. And it'll be great. So I'll have an update on that. I will have been to Savannah and back as well. So I'm going to the water again.
Good.
So I'll post some pictures. I'm sure it's on the marsh. This place I'm going is on the marsh, and it's beautiful, and I cannot wait to be there. It would be a good place for us to meet and have a fun getaway. It's a Methodist compound that's really pretty. And I am going to I plan on going to my favorite place on this planet, foodie paradise, M&T Meats in Hawkinsville. So I will definitely update you on that. It's the best butcher in the world. Striplins, I love you, but M&T. And so I'm going to do all that. And then we'll, all of our episodes by then will have been dumped onto the platforms. So you can listen to them all there.
Good.
We need to have JT on here so you can hear how meek and mild and quiet and lovely he is.
He's very nice.
He's very sweet. He's very sweet. All right, friends. Well, we hope to see you back next week, and we will see you on all our new platforms as well. So be on the lookout.
Follow us over there, Brooker.
Brooke, you gotta migrate, Brooke. Migrate to the Apple Podcast.
Have a good week, y'all.